Hello and welcome to the video on organic macromolecules. So first let's talk about what a molecule is. A molecule is a group of atoms which are bonded together that act as the building blocks for cells. And every molecule in all of existence, in both living and dead things, has its own unique bonding properties. It's a characteristic that all molecules have, just like you might have a small nose or a big nose or blue eyes or brown eyes. Those are all characteristics you have. Well, molecules, one of the characteristics they have is its bonding properties. And many atoms are made of carbon. And atoms that are made of carbon are incredibly important because carbon is the basis of most molecules that make up living things. It is possible that non-living things can have carbon, but a lot of them don't have carbon. But all living things are made of molecules, and all living things that are made of molecules will have molecules that are made with carbon. And one of the reasons why is because of the bonding properties of molecules that are made out of carbon. Carbon is very special because it can bond with many elements such as hydrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, nitrogen, and many other elements that are critical to forming life. And the way those bonds are formed is that in carbon-based molecules, there are small subunits called monomers. And these monomers will bond together very strongly to form long chains of branches called polymers. So these carbon molecules are called organic molecules. Organic molecules are any molecule that's made out of carbon. And not only do organic molecules form the structure of living things, but they also are involved with the various processes going inside your body that keep you alive, such as homeostasis. Now, not all organic molecules are alike. There's 4 major categories of them. Now, organic macromolecules are very large molecules, and these very large carbon molecules, these organic macromolecules, fall into 4 different categories. One is carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids. And on screen, you can see examples of how these organic macromolecules will appear in real life, as well as some of the functions and processes that they help maintain. So lipids are mostly made from carbon and hydrogen atoms. And the most common category of lipids are fats, oils, and waxes. The reason why we want lipids is because lipids can store energy. Now, it is possible that we can have too much and store too much energy in those lipids, but we don't want to have none either. That's why having 0% body fat would be dangerous and deadly to you. And the reason why is not only just because they store energy, but because there are some membranes, there are some tissues in your body that need to be waterproof, and the only way for them to be waterproof is through having lipids. And the way lipids can make some of your membranes waterproof is through the formation of phospholipids. These are what makes up many cell membranes, which allow the various cells of your body to decide what kind of things come into the cell and what kind of things they block out. But without lipids, they have no way of gatekeeping what kind of things come in and out. And there's 2 types of lipids or fats, and that's saturated, which are generally solid, the kind of fat you find in animals and only have single bonds. They're not very strong. Compared with unsaturated fats. These are generally liquid fats, like some of your oils, and they're found in plants and have stronger double bonds. The next macromolecule I'm going to talk about is proteins. Proteins are polymers, which are made of monomers called amino acids. This is an important term. You're going to see this come up again in future units. Amino acids are arranged in many different ways to create many different proteins with many different functions. Proteins can control a lot of different things in your body, including rates of reaction and various cell processes, such as when to divide, when to not divide. Other proteins form important cellular structures, like a lot of the tissues you learned about earlier in the class, while others can be used to transport substances, kind of like little mini taxis inside of your body, to carry things in and out of cells, or they can even be used to help fight invading diseases that have found their way into your body. Another important macromolecule that you're going to learn a lot more about in Unit 2 is nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are also polymers that are assembled from individual monomers called nucleotides. So monomers are strung together to form a polymer. Nucleic acids are polymers, so what they're strung out of is nucleotides. Nucleotides are composed of a sugar, also known as a carbohydrate, a phosphate group, and a base. And the two types of nucleic acids formed from nucleotides are DNA and RNA. Nucleic acids like DNA and RNA are important because they store and transmit genetic information. And again, you're going to find out a lot more about nucleic acids come Unit 2. And finally, the fourth macromolecule is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are molecules composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. That's where the name comes from. Carbohydrates are broken down and are used as chemical energy. That's right, carbohydrates are not evil, bad, unhealthy things. They're used to give you energy that fuels all the cell processes, your organ systems, everything going on inside of your body, from your energy levels, homeostasis, everything. Carbohydrates are important because living things use carbohydrates as their main source of energy. If you're not eating carbs, you will be denying yourself a huge source of energy. Now, yes, you can do too much, and there are times when maybe you should lay off the carbohydrates, but to deny yourself carbohydrates can cause your body a lot of problems and a lot of health issues. And carbohydrates come in 5 different varieties, and those varieties are called saccharides. So anytime you hear the word saccharide, you know you're dealing with a carbohydrate. And there are 5 kinds: monosaccharides, disaccharides, trisaccharides, tetrasaccharides, and pentasaccharides. And there's some more examples on the screen to help you out if you need to know more about saccharides for one of your projects. But for now, you don't need to know much more for your notes other than just the 5 different types of saccharides and maybe some of the examples you see in the parentheses. If you need to know more than that for one of your projects, feel free to come back to the screen and take notes on the more extensive examples. And that's it. If you have any questions, please leave me an email or ask me in class.